Hello and a very warm welcome to the programme. G7 leaders have held an emergency meeting to discuss what more they can do to support Ukraine after a second day of Russian missile strikes. They condemned the attacks and reassured President Zelensky that they were steadfast in their commitment to Ukraine. They said irresponsible nuclear rhetoric risked global peace and security. Ukraine's president addressed the G7 meeting calling for more help with air defence and presented his peace formula. From Kyiv, here's Paul Adams.
In Kyiv, a day of welcome calm after yesterday's storm. Air raid sirens did sound briefly, citizens heeding their government's warning to seek shelter, some heading for the metro.
We don't feel safe because we don't know what's coming next. Nevertheless, I hope that what happened yesterday was the scariest thing.
I'm not afraid because there will be victory for Ukraine, Ukrainians, for all our people.
One of yesterday's missiles almost hit the city's famous pedestrian bridge. Today, after getting the all clear, people came out to see what almost happened.
This popular bridge isn't just a tourist attraction anymore. It's now what the mayor calls a symbol of Ukraine's indomitability. But while the people of this city have had a pretty quiet day on which to reflect on yesterday's events, it hasn't been the same in other parts of the country.
In the southern city of Zaporizhia, a car showroom was gutted early this morning. Officials said 12 missiles were fired at the city. Zaporizhia has been hit almost every day for the past 2 weeks. Officials in other cities have been ordered not to release images of damage to power plants and other infrastructure. With winter coming, they know energy is a key Russian target. This afternoon, President Zelensky directly appealed to allies for help in dealing with missiles and drones. He thanked them for helping to secure Ukraine's skies, but said the threats kept coming and Ukraine needed more. Back in the capital, the cleanup continues. The government has told people here to be vigilant and conserve energy. In this war with many fronts, keeping warm may soon become the next battle. Paul Adams, BBC News, Kyiv.
Well, let's go live to Kyiv now and speak to our correspondent Hugo Beshega. Hugo, this morning I can see you're back at our regular spot. You're not underground. This time yesterday, sirens had already gone off. So describe the atmosphere today.
Yes, Sally. Well, actually, we had a siren just 15 minutes ago, but we had the all clear just before we came on air about 5 minutes ago. It was the fourth time today that the air raid sirens went off here in Kyiv. We had 3 during the night, an unusual number. So it gives you a sense of how tense the situation is here in the capital 2 days after those missile strikes hit the capital. Causing several deaths here. But as we saw from Paul Adams there, my colleague, there was a lot of work yesterday here across the city to restore the damage, to repair services. And I think here in Kyiv, electricity has been restored in most parts of the city. President Zelensky said last night that work was underway in many parts of the country to restore electricity, to restore supplies to millions of people. And I think this is the fear here that Russia seems to have a strategy of trying to target civilian infrastructure across the country. And I think the fear is that more attacks are likely to come.
Yeah, and we were hearing there from President Zelensky on that virtual meeting with G7 leaders calling for a new action from G7 leaders in response to this new wave of terror.
Yeah, and he mentioned that in his address last night. He said that he expected a positive response today from NATO countries. There is a meeting of NATO defense ministers in Brussels later today, and I think President Zelensky wants an increase in military aid from NATO countries. Yesterday, as he said, he addressed the online summit of the G7, and he said Ukraine needed more air defense capability capabilities. And I think yesterday we had the delivery of some equipment from Germany, and also we had the promise by President Biden that the US will be providing Ukraine with air defense capabilities. So again, the Ukrainians are saying that they need more weapons to defend this country. President Zelensky accusing Russia again of employing terrorist tactics, and NATO countries will be discussing later today what else can be done to help Ukraine to fight this war.